Domino's Pizza has over 19,000 stores around the globe. One of its competitors, Papa John's, has just 5,500. Annual revenue is currently reported to be over $4 billion, and it's expected to climb even higher. Domino's is one of the most successful fast food pizza chains in the world, and so it may be hard to believe that Domino's almost never happened, because the founder nearly dedicated his life to priesthood. He enrolled in university to become an architect, and the fate of the company was decided by a Volkswagen Beetle. This is the untold story of Domino's and the truth behind the commanding domino effect. Chapter 1. Not So Humble Beginnings. It all begins with Tom Monaghan and his brother James, who were doing everything they could just to scrape by. Their father died when Tom was just 4 years old, and their mother struggled to care for them alone. By the age of 6, in 1943, Tom and his younger brother ended up at a Catholic orphanage until 1949. The orphanage, St. Joseph's Home for Children in Jackson, Michigan, was run by the Felician Sisters of Livonia. One of the nuns there inspired Tom's devotion to the Catholic faith, and later he entered St. Joseph's Seminary in Grand Rapids with the desire to become a priest. Unfortunately, he was expelled from the seminary for a series of disciplinary infractions. But Tom was determined to make something of himself, and in 1956 he decided to join the Marines, even though it was by mistake, because he actually intended to join the Army. And just 3 years later, he was honorably discharged. Tom, a bit unsure of what to do with his life, returned to Ann Arbor, Michigan, where he enrolled at the University of Michigan to build not pizzerias, but buildings. He wanted to become an architect, but Tom had no idea what was about to happen next. While he was still a student, Tom borrowed $900 to buy a small pizzeria called Domino's, located in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Believe it or not, it was actually Tom's brother, James, who had the idea. Tom was actually quite skeptical at first and even afraid to take the risk. But eventually, he agreed to invest as a side hustle to pay his way through school. The pizza business actually lost him so much money, and he was forced to leave college and never able to return. The pizzeria then fell under a lawsuit, and they had been forced to change the name. And so begins the story of Domino's. Business had picked up. Tom and his brother actually opened up 3 new stores where they worked arduously, targeting university campuses for pizza delivery as their business model, and business was booming. They even developed a special new kind of delivery box that allowed them to stack multiple piping hot pies for delivery, which prevented crushing and kept them piping hot with that fresh out of the oven toastiness until they arrived to their customers. By the 1980s, nearly 3 new stores were opening every single day. But here's the kicker. Domino's nearly ceased to be part of our present day. Remember how they opened their first brand spanking new stores? The 2 brothers actually had a big falling out over the direction of the company just before. And Tom ended up buying out his brother's half of ownership by trading a Volkswagen Beetle for it. Now that is what I call a piece of the pie. The Volkswagen Beetle may appear to be a minor character in the story, but it reveals a lot about Tom Monaghan's ruthless business tactics and his willingness to go to any length to get what he wants. Monaghan was able to gain complete control of the company and paved the way for its eventual success by purchasing his brother's share for just the Volkswagen Beetle. But Monaghan's success with Domino's was far from over. In 1985, he sold 93% of the company to Bain Capital, which, at the time, was run by Mitt Romney. He sold for a whopping $1 billion. Monaghan then embarked on a moral crusade, raising $4.5 billion for a cathedral and selling his property in order to die broke. Tom was an outspoken supporter of the Nicaraguan Contras and their efforts to destabilize the socialist government in the 1980s. He even funded a radio station that broadcast anti-Sandinista propaganda. Monaghan has also been accused of using his wealth and influence to promote a conservative anti-abortion agenda, donating millions of dollars to organizations that support his cause. Despite these controversies, Monaghan continues to be a powerful and influential figure in business and politics. He still remains as chairman of Domino's Farms Corporation, a real estate development and management firm that owns and operates Domino's Pizza's sprawling headquarters in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Chapter 2. The Chemical Pizza. Domino's Pizza is well known for delivering hot, fresh pizza right to your door. But many people are unaware of the chemical crud that goes into their pizza. It is far from the fresh homemade food that it appears to be, with its artificial preservatives and additives, cheap processed meats, and even genetically modified ingredients. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons some people call Domino's Pizza chemical crap is because of its ingredients. The pizza sauce, for example, contains sodium benzoate, a preservative that's linked to cancer and other health issues. And it's actually a known carcinogen found in Monster Energy. I have a story on that too. Check it out when you're finished with this one. This chemical is added to the sauce in order to extend its shelf life and prevent spoilage, ultimately saving the company thousands of dollars. But the problem is it's also harmful to cell DNA and causes cancerous tumors. Another reason for the crappy label is the use of flavor enhancers that are anything but natural, such as the controversial monosodium glutamate, which many of you might know as MSG. It's commonly used in processed foods to enhance flavor and increase consumer appeal, but it's actually well studied and causes headaches, nausea, and many other problems. All of this contributed to Domino's establishing its flavor profile: cardboard. Many people have compared the texture and flavor of Domino's pizza to cardboard.
When you're done with your Domino's pizza, eat the box because it tastes the same.
With some even saying it's indistinguishable from the real thing. This claim is backed by the opinions that, first, the crust is frequently overcooked and even inconsistently cooked, making it dry and difficult to chew. This makes it feel as though you're chomping down on a sheet of cardboard, especially if it's not fresh. Another reason for the comparison is the use of cheap processed ingredients. The sausage, pepperoni, and bacon on the pizza pies are frequently sourced from factory-farmed animals raised in inhumane conditions, being force-fed genetically modified grains. The ingredients in our food are so far from fresh and natural these days. The meats are also commonly laced with hormones and antibiotics, which alter the flavor and texture. I always wondered why the crust was so very chewy the next day. Chapter 3. Avoid the Noid. Group 243, an advertising agency, was tasked with creating a mascot for Domino's Pizza in 1986. The result was the Noid, a grotesque and perverted character.
We keep the Noid out and all the quality in, so avoid the Noid.
The Noid, a gibbering, pot-bellied, buck-toothed rabbit dressed in a skin-tight costume, was a hamburglar-like character, with one purpose: to delay pizza delivery at any cost.
Look, it's a Noid! Avoid the Noid! He ruins pizzas!
Domino's claimed that their pizzas were Noid-proof and urged customers to order to get their pizza in 30 minutes or less to avoid the Noid. The Noid was a bizarre and inexplicable success, even spawning 2 video games, a line of toys with a mass selection of merchandise, and even a claymation commercial from the California Raisins creators. The Noid's reign of terror, however, came to an abrupt end due to a real-life crime committed by a schizophrenic namesake. On January 30th, 1989, a 22-year-old man named Kenneth Lamar Noid walked into an Atlanta, Georgia Domino's Pizza to a crowd of unsuspecting pizza-faced patrons, but he was carrying a .357 Magnum revolver, and he kidnapped 2 employees. The employees managed to escape after a 5-hour standoff, during which Noid demanded $100,000 in ransom money. This proved to be catastrophic for the Noid brand. The headline was too good to ignore. Domino's hostages couldn't avoid the Noid this time, and it turned out that Kenneth Lamar Noid actually believed he was the Noid, or at least the Noid's original inspiration. He believed that the founder of Domino's had created the Avoid the Noid campaign specifically to persecute him. Noid tragically committed suicide in 1995 after 3 months in a mental institution. As for the cartoony demon that drove him to his death, the Noid hasn't been seen since. Although the Noid has vanished, his legacy lives on in the dark, twisted world of corporate mascots. The Noid serves as a cautionary tale of the perils of creating a character that is too successful, too bizarre, and too evil to survive in the real world. Chapter 4: 30 Minutes or Less. In 1979, Domino's was lagging behind Pizza Hut. Since Pizza Hut didn't yet deliver, Domino's CEO and founder Tom Monaghan decided to promote the fact that his company not only delivered, but could also get you your pizza faster than your local pizzeria, thus coined the slogan 30 minutes or less.
We guarantee your pizza will be delivered within 30 minutes or you get $3 off your order.
The slogan became popular, and Domino's began to amass loads of money. As usual, there were critics who felt that the promise encouraged dangerous driving by pizza delivery guys, and there was a reason to be concerned. A 1989 car accident involving a delivery driver left one woman with spinal cord injuries, while another in 1990 killed a 41-year-old woman. These are just two of many injuries caused by pizza delivery drivers. Rumors again began to fly, faster than their pizzas, such as unconfirmed statistics claiming that 20 deaths had been caused by Domino's drivers prior to 1989, as did an urban legend claiming that a delivery driver purposely killed a child in order to meet the 30-minute delivery deadline. In response, Domino's hired off-duty police officers to tail their drivers to ensure they obeyed the speeding laws. But none of that mattered because Domino's was still perceived as putting profits ahead of public safety. In 1993, a court ordered Domino's to pay Gene Kinder nearly $79 million as a result of the 1989 accident. Tom later announced the end of the 30 minutes or less policy. Just 4 days later, he admitted that they were debating continuing the 30-minute or less guarantee for a number of years, and that the court ruling was certainly the thing that put it over the edge. Even though Monaghan defended the 30 minutes policy at his press conference, he was right when he said that this 30-minute guarantee has become part of the culture of this country. But it's a dark part of that culture, one that prioritized corporate profit over public safety and led to countless preventable accidents and deaths. I wonder what will become of the current culture of food delivery with companies like DoorDash and Uber Eats. Chapter 5: Domino's Forever. In 2018, Domino's Pizza in Russia sparked an outrage by offering customers free 100 pizzas a year for 100 years. All you had to do was tattoo the company's logo on your body, as well as share the proof on social media with the hashtag Domino's Forever. The promotion was supposed to last 2 months, but it was promptly canceled after only 4 days. Why, you ask? Well, as you can imagine, the tattoo parlors were packed to the brim with a massive number of people who wanted some new ink. Many people were drawn to the offer because of Russia's stagnant economy, which has left average disposable incomes around $500 per month. This meant that the prospect of free food for life piqued the interest of many, especially those impoverished and looking for any means necessary to provide food for their families. But yet again, many were outraged by the decision of the company to allow such a campaign to begin, permitting a permanent tattoo of a company's logo in exchange for free food. Pitiful. The incident was a desperate and, quite frankly, unethical move by Domino's, which was ultimately taking advantage of people's financial difficulty in order to gain social media attention and free promotion. Some even called it exploitation, because it forced people to permanently brand themselves with a company's logo in exchange for a limited number of free pizza. Even so, there's a concern about the long-term impact of such a campaign. Many of those who got the tattoo were young and may not have fully realized their actions at the time when they branded themselves with the logo. Maybe some of them have a bit of regret about branding themselves with a company's logo, but hey, they also got free pizza. The incident also raised broad questions about the power of such massive brands and how far they are willing to go just to gain attention and increase their profit. The fact that so many were willing to permanently tattoo a corporate logo on their bodies in exchange for a product is a sobering reminder of the power that brands can have over people, and the lengths that some people will go in order to gain a perceived benefit. The tattoo promotion harmed Domino's reputation in Russia, and the company was forced to discontinue the offer only after a few days. Despite all of these controversies, Domino's Pizza remains a dominating force in the pizza pie industry, continuing to serve over 1 million pizzas every day to customers around the globe. In spite of its criticism of business practices and the quality of its ingredients, the company has remained successful and continues to expand its massive reach. It surprises me how many of the companies and brands have such shocking histories. Honestly, I was quite surprised at their stories. So go check out these stories now and I'll meet you there.